Sir, sir?
Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that.
Sir?
Geek, geek, woo, woo. I ain't playing around. Make one false move, I take you down.
Yeah, player. Just the person I want to see. Now, come on, give Daddy the numbers. How's Destiny 2 doing? Yeah, about that, sir. The numbers aren't looking good. They're not looking good, sir. Now, player, I must be hearing you wrong, because I swear you just said the numbers aren't looking good. What happened to the ride of the whatever the hell event you had me cook up and let you guys do? All right, what happened to those numbers? Tell me what went wrong. Well, players aren't coming back like we thought they were for Rites of the Nine, unfortunately. In fact, it's worse now than it was last year, and no one's actually impressed with Edge of Fate. It's looking bad, sir. So you tell me, we do this free event, and no one's coming to show? Listen, come here. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. You know what you're starting to do? You're starting to mess with my Ferrari money. That's right. Don't mess with Pete's Ferrari money. Back the fuck up. I will destroy you. Are you listening? I don't think you're listening. I want you to go hire whatever that scarecrow guy. Hire him to fix this shit. Well, his name is Scarrow, not Scarecrow. It's Scare. Okay. Yeah. He's also been complaining against us too. A lot of people complaining along with him about us kind of being deceitful with the scheduling and not being upfront. In fact, people are saying we're lying. It's a PR nightmare, sir. The audacity of that homeless looking motherfucker. Here I am allowing him the audacity to fondle the taint off my balls. And you're telling me it's not good enough that he has the audacity to bite the hand that feeds him? I don't think so. No. We do not negotiate with terrorists. Not around here. I was trained by the best in the business. That's right. My uncle, the best in the business, trained me. And I haven't got time for this shit. He's lucky I still need him to do damage control for Marathon. All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to cut a week off, and then you're going to give them free shit. Like bonus week or some kind of bullshit that they're just going to sit there and eat out of your hand. You want them eating like baby birds. And then when you got those baby birds right in your hand, that's right, you got them right there. Then you close it. You strangle the fucking life out of their beating eyes. That's how you do it. Then you keep them. You keep wringing those necks. You keep wringing them necks, and they drop dollar signs. You feel me, player? You feel me? Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not hearing you agree with me right now. I don't hear you agreeing. Do you see those dollar signs, player? Don't mess with me, Bob. Don't mess with me. I don't give a fuck what your name is. Your name is Bob the fucking Builder if I decide it's Bob the fucking Builder. I will fucking massacre you. I will crush you until there's nothing but peanut dust left of your ass. I will go to the local nursery home. I will find some old grandma. I will take the greasiest, runny diaper I can. I will shove that in a box. And then I will mail it to your address. And then I will put it in a way that the moment you put your hands into it, it is full of granny shit. Don't fuck with me. Daddy's got to get his Ferrari. That's right. Daddy's got to get his Ferrari. Don't fuck with him. All right? Now get out there and make sure you fix this Rite of the Nine bullshit and make sure that they give me my money. We got to make sure the edging our wallets. I don't know what that's. I don't give a shit what it's called. It's edging our wallets because it's putting in wallet and Daddy's pocket, right? Now fuck off. Daddy's got some dancing to do. No, sir. Yep. I got it on the schedule. We're gonna make it happen. Destiny's back, baby. That's right. Edge of Fate, Destiny 3.0. That's what we're gonna do. Yep. But put it on the notes, sir. Don't worry. Sorry. I apologize for wasting your time, sir. This was not a problem at all. Don't worry. I love my job. You're gonna get your Ferrari, sir. I love it here. I love Bungie. It's totally not toxic. I love my job. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back with another brutally honest review. Today, we're reviewing Rites of the Nine. That's right, a free event leading up to the release of Edging Our Wallets expansion. Edge of Fate. This is the second free event that we've had, the second being Into the Light. Both of these are leading into, or should I say, did lead into a major expansion. For Into the Light, it led into the final shape, and now we have Rites of the Nine leading us into the edging of our wallets. But how do they compare? That's right. With all this in mind, we are going to compare the two free events and seeing how Rites of the Nine really actually competes. Let's start with the good, because I feel like there's quite a bit that is not really, there's not much to say that's positive about it, especially since people who want nice things. I'm going to tell you the nice stuff up front, what worked, what's positive. That way, if you want to avoid all the fair and logical criticism I bring to the table, you can skip it like you usually do. I know, I'm such a generous guy. Rites of the Nine is 100% free. Hats off, whether you hate it or you love it, free is free. Kind of like the freebies at Walmart. You can choose to take it, or you can choose to give the employee a weird look because they're trying to offer you tofu when you want real meat. Like, sorry, I'm not a vegetarian. Give me real meat. Rites of the Nine is perfect for bringing up new players or your friends when you want to quickly get them geared up for the next expansion. That's if you actually plan on buying the next expansion, or at least you even have friends in the first place. Looking at you, Tim. Explorer mode is the first attempt by Bungie to introduce a real tutorial in the game that actually helps new, returning, even veteran players play a dungeon for the first time at a reasonable and unfailable pace. That's right. One thing that the Explorer mode does right is that it removes the ability to fail. It removes one of the most massive gates that has blocked many players from even attempting a dungeon. No longer can you be blamed for wiping your entire team. Oh, you messed up the mechanic? No biggie. Just keep going. Oh, your damage was bad? Don't worry. Bungie has given you plenty of time to do another run of the DPS phase. Seriously, it is a massive, massive W. You can either play solo, you can play matchmaking with other people, allowing you to choose how you want to have your dungeon experience. Bungie has also introduced holofoil quests similar to Into the Light that gives you a curated role weapon with a sick galaxy-style skin. I mean, really, I'm so upset this event skin wasn't the tier 5 we're getting in the next expansion. Not only do new players get free shiny full weapons, you also get the option to get some dungeon weapons completely for free. Listen, I know there are a lot of people who are tired of Bungie giving out exotics like candy, but at least at this point, I've surrendered, right? I've surrendered fighting about exotics and that they'll ever return to form, the excitement that they once were from Destiny 1. I give up, right? I am not the target of this. I've surrendered my thoughts on what that exotics should be rarer, that they shouldn't be giving out the candy. It's whatever. When it comes to Rites of the Nine, the exotics that Bungie has decided to give new players for free, these are all old exotics. Who cares, man? Giving players some decent exotics or getting the Galahorn Catalyst, which was tied to paid content, that's great for new, casual, and even returning players. They can grab these goodies pretty easily. I'm not gonna, there's a lot I would have a fit about. This isn't one of them. Currency is capped at 9,999, which is very rare for Bungie. Most currencies in the game are capped at 50 or 300 or 250, but Bungie allows more currency to gather in this event, and it's actually not that hard to get the currency in the first place. You just simply play the game mode or play explore mode. Lastly, ultimatum mode is pure challenge. I loved every single change Bungie made, from reducing the massive health pool of the final boss of the Ghost of the Deep to a timer to transversal activities, and even adding mini bosses that you have to clear to advance in the Spire of Watcher. This is how you update dungeons in contest level and make them feel like an actual challenge. So many Banes, like everywhere. Oh, what's that? Void Bane. Oh, what's that? Shock Bane. What's that? Meteors everywhere. There was one time where we had like 3 meteor Banes and they're just raining meteors everywhere. I mostly did that because I just wanted to watch LFG struggle to fight because it was kind of funny to watch. It is such a better experience than putting 50 champions that made me feel like banging my head against the wall. Banes actually cause unique situations that will change from run to run. Not dramatically, but they do change up the encounters versus in champions, where you always spend 100% time killing the first one, creating a boring loop of, oh, there's a champion, shoot it, it's dead. Oh, there's a champion, I know how to stop it. Champion, 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 champion. I'm so tired of champions. They're not even challenging. But you know what else was a challenge? Moths. Yes, Moths. Getting one shot by Moths is incredibly annoying in Ghost of the Deep, but honestly, it makes you care about your surroundings, including the final boss, where it's now part of the encounter to actively work together as a team to shoot all the Moths that were summoned by the boss. You'll just die. It's like kamikaze dropping nukes, except the Moths are the nukes. I like the aspect of that challenge because it wasn't a modifier. It was just an enemy to deal with. Chasing gold makes running contest mode a little different. I don't know if I would like this in the future for day one contest dungeons, but existing dungeons that we all know well enough, I'm fine with. It makes you have to care and coordinate as a team, and you can't just willfully be dumb and get yourself killed or you'll run. Even more so than normal contest mode, I think. Overall, Ultimatum was a success, and it showed that dungeons can be challenging, and we know in the future that we'll have Ultimate tier for difficulties above Grandmaster. So it's possible we could experience more dungeons in the future at this level, but we'll have to wait to see. All right. That's it for the positives of the event. That's it. There's nothing left. There's nothing new. There's nothing fresh. That's it. There's no more positives. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And no, I'm not talking about myself. Bungie clearly led the community to believe that dungeons would be on a weekly rotation during their reveal live stream.
Good one at that. So
you can see the Spire of the Watcher tower off in the distance.
Yeah.
That's indicating that during the week that we have this set for, Spire is the featured dungeon. So there's going to be one of these 3 dungeons featured during each week of the event on a sort of rolling basis.
Okay.
But it turns out that Bungie time-gated a free event. And of course, there are a few dumbass people out there who think the community's making crap up. Why would they have? Why would they say that? Why would they deceive the community? Seriously, they could have clearly stated that the event would have been on a 3-week rotation. They had the opportunity to be specific in their live stream, but also in this week in TWAB, in Destiny, whatever, a Bungie. After that, they could have released it on Twitter. They could have done all these ways of informing the community about what the actual expectations were and what the schedule was. They always give schedules, but for some reason this event, they could not give you one. I wonder why. It wasn't after the massive community backlash that Bungie posted the actual timeline of events, which only enraged the community even more because they found out, yeah, it's time gated. Finally, Bungie caved and reduced the rotation by just to 2 weeks instead of 3, announced bonus loot drops, and announced the last week would feature a Lootapalooza. Nothing kickstarts goodwill towards the next expansion of Destiny like lying to your community and continuing the same bad practices of time gating that the community has criticized time and time again. And we aren't talking about just a free event that comes back every year like Guardian games. We are talking about a limited time event that is time gated. Time gating FOMO. There is no excuse for this. I gave shit for Into the Light for time gating weapons.
There is zero reason time gating should exist for this. Zero. Absolutely no reason at all, because the drop rate at which the shiny weapon variants come out is very low. Not only is it very low in general, the chances of you getting a shiny variant of the gun that you are actually chasing, even with attunement, is so low. I did a hour-long run on Legend and got 0 shinies. I think only 1 out of 3 of us got 1. And I know that someone out there is going to be like, oh my God, you want the weapons to just drop too easy? We'll get to that in a minute. Hold your horses. I think if you're going to make things rare, be as it be. Remove the time gating. Release the weapons and let us farm.
And I stand by that business. And I think it was stupid to time gate weapons when there's so many, there were so many of them that people wanted to farm and get god rolls on and wanted the cool shinies. But the fact that people wanted shinies alone should have been enough for them to release everything. The same thing applies here to Rites of the Nine, though it's not as big of a deal as the weapons are pretty fucking mid. Yep, let's jump right into it, shall we? The purpose of the event, the reason to play, the reason to grind. It's almost like Bungie knew this event was not going to be carried by the weapons, which is why time gated, they time gate all the dungeons in the first place, because the retention, that's it. That's all that's here for, is retention bait. We'll compare player count in a minute. Unless you are a new player or returning player, most of these weapons can be replaced by 99% of the weapons you already have or already in the game. I don't know what Bungie was thinking. Into the Light had not only iconic weapons, but pretty much every weapon they introduced had good to amazing rolls. Rites of the Nine, it felt like Bungie was afraid to make the weapons good. Sure, we have decent weapons like No Survivors with classic Heal Clip, Incandescent, or Cold Comfort with the God Roll, Envious Arsenal, and Bait and Switch. But that's pretty much it. Spire had pretty bad weapon rolls. Prophecy has the one shotgun with 1-2 punch and trench barrel, making it a unique shotgun to go for. But most of everything else is mid to ass. Seriously, the perks are mid. The weapons are mid. I went and spent 2 months every day playing Onslaught, grinding for those shiny god rolls, trying to get the perfect 10 out of 10 because those weapons were exciting. Those weapons had exciting rolls. You don't get that from Rites of the Nine. What is worse is that Bungie decided to follow the same deceitful, lying strategy that they did in Episode Heresy with the shiny weapons. Bungie once again showcased adept shiny weapons when revealing shinies.
Mode, you'll be getting adept versions of the weapons. Very exciting. Yeah.
So when you say adept,
Yes.
I mean, are they just adept, or do they have any special treatment, you might say?
Well, they are in fact adept in name and in functionality, but also they have the new treatment. So all of our weapons have a new visual treatment to them that has 9 iconography on them.
So as you're going in, you're doing the harder difficulty, you're earning these adepts. They're going to have the animated holofoil, giving that galaxy background, kind of showing I ascended the mountaintop. I actually went and earned this really dope loot.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Not normal weapons, adepts. They introduced them both at the same time as if they were packaged together, when in fact they were not. Funny, they like to package things together that aren't actually together a lot, kind of like how armor and weapon changes coming along with this on the side of Edge of Fate, that expansion. Those are free and separate too, but Bungie loves having the opportunity to group everything together. And the sad thing is Bungie had the opportunity to explain that there would be 4 different versions of these weapons: the normal drops, the normal shinies, the adept shinies. But of course, Bungie deceitfully forgot to mention that. Should adepts be shiny? Yes. Ultimate mode is contest level difficulty, and you should absolutely get a shiny because of it. You're still farming. You still have to rely on RG to get a good shiny, to get the specific role that you want. The reality is people aren't even playing ultimate mode. They're just playing it once to get their title, and then they're dipping out. And if they are playing, they're finding that one specific encounter that's easy to farm adepts and piecing out. Hell, even Ghost of the Deep, people would rather farm a transversal checkpoint rather than the real fucking encounters. But adepts are shiny, then people would farm that anyway and would be pointless. Well, kiddo, Bungie already has a mechanic in place that they could also apply to shinies. You see, if you do a full run of a dungeon during Rites of the Nine, you get a bonus chest of loot. That's right, a full run rewards you a bonus chest. Now think, Mark, think. If you did a full run of Ultimatum from beginning to end, doing contest mode, and you get a bonus chest, it should be a shiny adept, because you put in the time, you put in the effort going through contest mode. It's not like it's a handout. You have to actually put time and effort into it. The whole loot situation feels underwhelming, especially compared to Into Light, where I was like, I was excited to see a shiny. Now it feels like another day in the park. Sure, Galaxy skin looks badass and cool, but the weapons themselves are not worth the effort. But that's not the only criticism. The dungeons Bungie chose makes no sense at all. Sure, Prophecy makes sense since it's attached to the 9. However, the dungeon has been updated 2 to 3 times, whereas we have dungeons like Pit of Heresy and the Shattered Throne that haven't been touched in years. Hell, we just finished episode Heresy. Wouldn't it be thematically make sense to play Pit of Heresy? Both of these 2 dungeons have been forgotten, and the weapons haven't been given much love. Sure, the Dreaming City weapons got a refresh, but who's to say Bungie could have put other returning weapons in that dungeon instead? Pit of Heresy could have gotten some Crown of Sorrow weapons, or just a refresh of the Moon weapons, which have already been forgotten again, or even the Altar of Weapon, like the Altar of Sorrow weapons. They could have used a refresh. So many options that would have made something new and fresh, but instead we get Spire of the Watcher, Ghost of the Deep, the most recent dungeons, and probably the 2 most unliked ones. Sure, the final boss of the Ghost of the Deep had its health brought down, which makes it a 2-phase or a 1-phase on Eternity mode, but people generally do not like these dungeons, and it's because the weapons are not exciting. All right, let's talk about Explore mode. Yes, it's a good step in the right direction, and Spire had some pretty detailed explanations for new players. In fact, Bungie showcased Spire of the Watcher to reveal the whole mode. I was pretty excited for new players until I realized Spire of the Watcher was the only effort Bungie put into this event in regard to teaching players how to do the dungeon. Goes to the Deep briefly explains certain aspects, yet doesn't removing some of the annoyance of water transversal, and doesn't actually always tell you where to go. Treating new players as veterans, making a more annoying experience for people who just want to learn and keep going rather than failing over and over and over because they don't know what they're doing or where to go. Even the final boss of Ghost of the Deep doesn't do a good job explaining what to do, as you'll start the encounter not having any indication of what you need to do. They're not actually going to tell you where. What? Hello? Okay. Use the revival ritual and link with. Okay. Again, this is one of those things that it does not do well. If you're in the middle of a boss fight, you have to actually get underneath the boss to see it. Until you randomly come up to a piece of text on the ground in front of the boss. While you're trying to read the text, you're just getting mauled by Thrall and shot by the boss. It's crazy that Bungie has tooltips that pop up in any other part of the game, but they never thought, hey, we should probably do that and use that as a tutorial to teach new players during this dungeon. These tooltips that stay on the screen until you perform those actions. As a veteran, I was doing gymnastics trying to read while not trying to die. Oh, what the hell? Okay. Become ritual conductor by again, this is one of the things. How is a fucking new player supposed to read this shit? There's no fucking way. Fuck off. There's no fucking way a new player is going to read this. All right, become a ritual conductor by occupying a ritual site. A new player is not going to have a good time by themselves while they're getting mauled to death. The first part of Ghost of the Deep requires that you use Deep Sight to find the locations to kill sword bearers, hive knights. One piece of the information Bungie doesn't tell new players during that boss fight is that you can't kill the knights where the boss is floating above. It fails every time. A new player would probably benefit from knowing that information. But what is worse is prophecy. The very beginning, they tell you what to do via text. And then after that, when you get to the first encounter, there's no tutorials. It's almost like Bungie was in a rush and didn't even bother doing anything with the rest of the dungeon. I'm not joking. Not even the final boss has a tutorial except for one little text for entropy that tells you that you can get entropy stacks the further you are from the boss. While you're wasting your time trying to read the text during DPS, right? It happens during DPS. You fall down, it's right there, and you're like, oh, let me read this real quick. And you're in the middle of damage. Okay. Dark entropy. Oh, it does. How the fuck are you gonna do that during DPS? What the fuck? How are you gonna teach? What the fuck, Bungie? How are you going to try to teach people how to do that during DPS? You're gonna do it in the middle of fucking DPS? Are you fucking kidding me? It wastes your time seeing they're reading the text, but instead of it showing up on your screen or showing before the fight, it doesn't tell you about the teleporting mechanic and how it can just send you all the way back if you keep getting hit by it. Like, certain aspects of the game are important to learn for new players, especially if they're struggling. Not even the light and dark modes have a tutorial after the start of the dungeon. What if a new player forgets? What if they need a reminder? Some people are slow learners and some people are really fucking stupid. Listen, in order to get new players to play dungeons, you need to treat players as if they're stupid as hell. Not to say that everyone is, but just imagine if you lower the bar so low for stupid people, then everyone from stupid and above can easily do dungeons and it covers all your bases. it's just wild that it seems like more effort went into Spire of the Watcher than any of the other dungeons, which is probably why they used it to showcase Explorer mode. I guess it's over delivery to put more effort into Explorer mode. All right, quickly, we're going to briefly talk about it, but let's talk about NotSwap. This was a PvP modifier to encourage people not to swap exotics around, not to swap their armor and their weapons, to try to combat from people doing cheesy stuff in trials and comp. I think it's really stupid, but it is what it is. Like Call of Duty has lock loadouts anyways until you die, and then you could swap your stuff. Like, that's whatever, right? But that modifier was brought over for this contest mode, and let me tell you, it's fucking stupid. It not only is it not is it annoying and doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do, it has no benefit to like make the game challenging whatsoever. It was intended to stop people from doing loadout swaps, even though everyone's still doing loadout swaps. They're dropping their wells, they're swapping their gear, and they're losing all their abilities, but they've already used the only ability that matters to them. It's crazy that Bungie doesn't understand how their game works, nor did they take time to actually modify NotSwap for this activity. They just slapped it in there and said it's good. Because not only can you circumvent the actual swapping, like the NotSwap modifier, you can swap your armor around, like your surges. You can swap around weapons and exotic weapons. You just have to make sure that if you're swapping a heavy, it has to be in heavy slot. If it's special, it has to be a special slot. Primary. Like, you have to make sure you're 1-for-1ing it. The only thing you can't swap is exotic armor, but you can swap everything else modifier wise, which is just, most of the people do loadout swaps because of the fact that they want their surges and then they want scavengers for ammo, which I want to briefly talk about in this experience with Prophecy. One of the biggest problems I found with Prophecy that made it just annoying to do the final boss was the ammo economy. We spent hours and hours and hours farming for ammo, and it would just never drop. And so it made that experience, especially when you have a wipe mechanic after 3, it feels bad. It really does. Like, sure, raids are the same way, but it feels like raids are a lot more forgiving. For some reason, the Prophecy boss during the rotations, when you're fighting all the Taken and you're dunking the lights, for some reason, it doesn't give you any ammo. I fought more ammo doing the DPS phase than I did actually leading up to the DPS phase, which it leads to the next part. People actually found a way that you can just leave and get your token back. That's right. If you died, you can just leave after being resurrected, go get your fresh ammo, come back with full ammo, and you're going to have your token back as well, which is funny that Bungie didn't patch that, even though that was the same tactic people use for contest mode and Vesper's host. Just a little funny thing to mention, because it's just that Bungie doesn't do effort anymore. They don't actually pay attention to their own game. Talking about not paying attention to their game, what about the player count? We compare Into the Light with Rites of the Nine. It's a damning comparison. You can see that Rites of the Nine pales in comparison. Into Light provided a brand new active with amazing chase weapons, introducing Pantheon as a raid boss gauntlet challenge. 2, sunsetted iconic exotic missions back with craftable weapons, and 3 brand new PvP maps. And while yes, Heavy Metal did was released during Rites of the Nine, Heavy Metal is its own activity that will return in the future, unlike Rites of the Nine. The effort put into the Rites of the Nine was the bare minimal. And Bungie had to pull content in from what later releases, is what they said, to put it into the light in order to bring hype back into the game, because people would stop caring about Destiny again because the final shape wasn't revealed very well the first time and there was layoffs. All that played its part. And after the second time, after the final the Into the Light was released, the final shape popped off. It provided hype. Whereas so far, there is no hype for Edge of Fate. It's a sad comparison, and Rites of the Nine has done such a poor job getting people back in the door. If you look at the data, it doesn't look like the 2 months. It doesn't look like the 2 months of the highest numbers in Destiny for Into the Light, Into the Final Shape. But Rites of the Nine has done nothing to move the needle. A few contest mode dungeons and lackluster rewards wasn't enough to bring excitement back. It also didn't help that Bungie admitted the loot would be tier 3, making them essentially worse than anything tier 5 in the future. 5 in the future, making most people care even less about any weapon in any activity. What about Lootapalooza? You haven't experienced Lootapalooza yet. Yeah, Bungie said we'll be able to trade Rites of the Nine currency for engrams to get old cosmetics, which we already have what they are, which is nothing to go home and talk to people. Yeah, thank you, leakers. Yeah, and by the way, it's not like you can choose and pick what you want. You literally are buying a loot box. I can't believe what year is it? We're doing loot boxes again? I mean, sure, bright engrams are a loot box, but we're literally trading currency to gamble for a chance of getting something maybe you want. That is a sad attempt at retention. It's pathetic. Like, this isn't something that's going to bring players back. No, it's just a way people who are already playing the game to farm old cosmetics they may not have, or also bringing back holo chips. Like, if you're excited for that, you know, yay, holo chips. I got wings and I got heart trail. Yay. You know, that thing Bungie tried to sell people as NTX, as an NTX cash grab. Yeah, that thing. Apparently it's free now. Listen, this event is lackluster in every shape and form and way. It's great if you are a new player, you can get some easy weapons, but numbers don't lie. People aren't playing as much. I think this is the hardest it's been to find groups to farm compared to Into Light. People were flooding LFG, but as time goes on, people are playing less and less of Rites of the Nine. As a free event, it fails to achieve its objective of bringing players back, and it fails to compete with Into Light, a far superior free event. This event turned out not to be as exciting as I hoped it would be. I had fun with the challenge mode, but once I consumed Ultimate Mode and did all the challenges, it was pretty much done for me. I'll grab my title and move on. Hopefully the next event will have more effort into it. That's if Destiny is still around by then. And I'm not saying that because, oh, I want Bungie to crash and fail. We knew that Into Light was a success. Final Shape was a success, but they still had layoffs. If this is what we're going into with no hype for this event, low numbers, lower than the Final Shape and Into the Light, Edge of Fate is not much excited about. There's no shot that there's not going to be more layoffs. I just don't see a future where Bungie continues to thrive, or if they're even considered thriving now. It's because of content like this that really pisses off your community and makes it show that you don't actually care about your game. At least the leaders don't. Hopefully, like I said, if there is a Destiny 2 in the future next year, hopefully they'll learn from this and put more effort into it, and there will be less deceitful drama from Bungie with clear expectations and outlines. But I wouldn't bet my fate on that. Until next time, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. This has been our brutally honest review for Rites of the Nine, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Game out.
Back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Yeet, yeet. I ain't playing around. Make one buck.